Welcome back to the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. After you through the news you need to know about, we run you through the fan Q&A where we answer fans' questions. Terrible week for Dolphins fans. Didn't think last week was bad. This week somehow is even worse because a lot of things came to light, I feel like. Not really. I don't think any Dolphins fan on the planet is happy with the way the organization is handling said issues. I think it's really I think, terrible management of the situation. I'm okay with them going into the Seahawks game saying, okay, let's at least give Skyler a chance. But what we saw from the last two preseasons for him were not good. It was okay this past preseason, but it wasn't good. And everything that we've heard in training camp from beat writers, namely a lot of beat writers from the offseason said the quarterback position, that the quarterbacks weren't throwing the football well. So yeah, just a bunch of nonsense, and we're going to get into all of it. I don't know really where to start. I guess we'll start here. I don't think we talked about this on last week because it's been a while since we've done this. But actually we'll start here with the saddest news. Former Dolphins two-time Super Bowl champion, Mercury Morris, dies at age 77. A lot of the 70s team players are obviously passing away. I think Nick Bonacani died last year, which is sad. And, I think one of my favorite pieces of Dolphins media ever, and I think it's one of the best NFL documentaries of all time, or at least series or historical accounts of something that they did a video of. I can't remember. I think it was a football. They used to do iconic games and just do a documentary and ask the entire team on those games. The Chiefs triple overtime Christmas game comes to mind. Everything with the 70s team. The perfect backfield's another great one. If you guys haven't seen those things, you guys need to. Just kind of everything that, I think the Dolphins franchise, and what makes it special is in those documentaries and comes from that team. It really started a great tradition in Dolphins football and winning football that hopefully I think we're starting to kind of get back to a little bit. And hopefully that, Mike can lead us there again, which I think we're at least trending in the right direction. But yeah, he was a part of the perfect backfield, and that team and that culture really started it all for Dolphins football. So it's really sad. One of the highest yards per carry of all time. Obviously dealt with a lot of off-the-field issues. Probably could have been had a Hall of Fame career if he didn't have those off-the-field issues. But yeah, a part of one of the greatest sports teams of all time. Very sad. I don't even think we talked about this yet. Not a great last 2 weeks. Dolphins is not great. Quarterback, I don't think we talked about this yet, but the Dolphins signed quarterback Tyler Huntley, which we're going to talk about a lot here anyway, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Dolphins unlikely to consider a quarterback trade. This news story comes from Pro Football Rumors. Despite a worsening injury crisis under center, the Dolphins are not expected to trade for an available quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa landed on injured reserve in Week 2. He won't be back until Week 8. The Dolphins have Tim Boyle and Tyler Huntley on their roster. The Dolphins, Week 3, undecided at this juncture. Starting quarterback likely comes down to practice availability. If Thompson is healthy enough to practice, Mike McDaniel could stick with the more familiar single caller and give Huntley an additional week to learn the offense. If Thompson cannot practice, though, Huntley will be able to take even more reps to pick up McDaniel's offense, or at least a simplified version of it. So we don't even know who's going to start against the Titans on Monday Night Football. Obviously, Skylar Thompson took a ton of big shots in that game. There's just so much here that I hate. We'll start with this. First of all, I think it's stupid that they won't make a trade with a team, and they should have already done it. They should have done it as soon as Tua got hurt, because they had a ton of time to prep whoever they could get. They had a long week from Thursday Night Football, and then they would have had another long week to Monday Night Football to get someone ready to play, who's a competent player who can keep the team going. I mean, Tua's not going to be back till week 8. Okay, that's half of the season almost. So I just don't understand what they're thinking about right now. I really don't. I don't think there's anybody around the organization or who's a fan of the team how do you rationalize that? I honestly don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. And like I said, they already should have done it. So this is one of the least. This reminds me of dumb things they used to do back in the day. And this is a really stupid one. It makes me really upset. There's plenty of players and organizations they could have called about a backup quarterback and made a deal. All we heard about the entire offseason, how much the organization likes this team, even from the beat writers who are always negative Nancy's all the dang time. People like Omar Kelly, but everybody talking about how good this team is and how much potential it has. And you're just going to waste that? That doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you trade for a quarterback if you really believe that? How delusional. It doesn't make any sense to me why they wouldn't trade for a quarterback. It doesn't, there's no circumstance in which I can even fathom it. I just don't get it. I really don't. So, they're really banking on Tyler Huntley or Skylar Thompson, I guess. And I swear to God, if they start Tim Boyle, I'm going to actually lose it. I really, really am. So yeah, this is just awful news. I was really hoping that they would trade for someone like a Mac Jones who can come in and actually steer the offense in the right direction and keep the team going. I thought that would be a phenomenal fit. There are other names out there that I'm sure everybody knows about. Maybe Ryan Tannehill off the street, someone like that, but they're not going to do that, which I think is and the weird thing about this report is they're not. What's the quote? There was an interesting quote about it. Where is the quote from the ESPN reporter? I'm trying to find it. The point is that I think it's a really stupid decision, and I'm not happy about it at all. I just don't get it. I think we all watched that game against Seattle, and it was incompetence at the highest level at the quarterback position. That was one of the worst. And what's funny is they're like, oh, Mike McDaniel hasn't been held to this low of a point total since the Jets. And guess who started that game? It was 2 years ago, Mike McDaniel's rookie season. It was against the Jets on the road, and Skylar Thompson started in that game. That was the last time we've been held to that low of a point total. What is the common denominator in that? Is Skylar Thompson. So, and that was not a good Jets team, by the way. That Jets team was terrible. So, it's I don't know what more evidence they need, honestly. He's never really had a good game. I think the best game I've ever seen Skylar play in was against the Vikings. I think that was his best game. And honestly, that was the only reason I had hope. Was 2 years ago versus the Vikings. I thought, and he ended up getting hurt in that game. But I thought that's the best football I've ever seen him play. And that's kind of why I was like, okay, maybe. But after that, yeah, we beat the Jets to go to the playoffs with Skylar Thompson. He didn't do anything. The best thing he did in that game was to not turn the ball over. That's all he did. And then in the playoffs against Buffalo, it was a great coaching job by Mike McDaniel in that game. And but he played awful in that game. He threw some awful interceptions in that game. He's never had a good game. Like he's in the like I said, the best game he's ever had. He didn't even finish it. He didn't even get to the two halves of football in that game. So I don't understand this whole, and I understand the whole Mike McDaniel thing of like, okay, he understands the offense. Well, he might understand the offense in the classroom, but he can't run it physically. He cannot run the offense well. So that just doesn't make any sense to me. How about get someone you can, even if the offense is super simplified, who can at least run an NFL offense at a competent level? That's all we want as fans. Because clearly Skylar can't. I think we have a big enough sample size of that. Against Seattle, he had awful, and I know people were pointing out the offensive line. I'm not saying they're world beaters, because clearly they're not. Even though I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. But his pocket presence is awful. Like, it's really, really bad. I don't know. He doesn't sense anything in the pocket. And he's a good athlete, and he never uses it. Like, he just never uses it. So he can't see the field very well. I don't really know what he does well, to be honest with you. And when he is on the run, his throwing on the run is super inconsistent. So he does not throw with anticipation and timing, which is one of the biggest things you need in this offense. To be honest with you guys, there's not a quarterback on this roster that throws with anticipation and timing. The best thrower of the football is definitely Tyler Huntley. I don't even think it's close. And at least they can get creative with him in the run game a little bit and then have some of those RPOs off of that. And I think that's really what they have to lean on. And I think that's why Tyler Huntley is the best out of all of the options, because I think that's something that can really give the team a boost and a slight advantage and really help out the run game. And that's something that they can lean on with Tyler Huntley. But, yeah, like there was no passing. I mean, Tim Boyle outperformed Skylar Thompson in 2 seconds that he was out there throwing the football. And I never want to see Tim Boyle in a Dolphins uniform again. I pray that doesn't happen again. I really do. So, yeah, it's just a bad situation. I don't think Skylar Thompson is the answer. He's a turnover machine. Like the dude he could not even handle a snap. He clearly his nerves, he's like a deer in headlights. That's a perfect play to illustrate that. He literally dropped a snap. He couldn't even snap the football. Not to mention the fact that the operation the entire time was terrible. The entire game, the operation was terrible. Julian Hill is another guy that's on my nerves. Like, he really is. I've seen enough of Julian Hill. Jonnu Smith can do Julian Hill's job. I think we can all just please just let him do it. Or Tanner Connor, for God's sakes. All we've heard about Tanner Connor is how well he's doing with his development. And he actually should have had a touchdown in this game. But Skylar missed him. Skylar cannot throw the football, is what I'm trying. He just can't, dude. He just can't. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's and you know, I've heard like, oh well, why look what the Packers. Everybody's like, oh, Mike McDaniel sucks. Look what Matt LaFleur is doing. Malik Willis is actually playing good football. He's not. I would much rather have Malik Willis than anybody we have on our roster at the quarterback position. Yes, they're running for a ton of yards. And yes, if it was me, especially what I saw, like the first few drives of that game, I would have okay, we're not winning. We cannot win with him doing this. We have to run the football. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I wish we would have done more of that in certain situations and been a little, continued to kind of lean on it. And we kind of got away from it at crucial times. And then when we did, Skylar Thompson was an absolute disaster. Like, an absolute disaster. He was so bad in this game. He just didn't look like he belonged in this league, for God's sakes. So, unless he can change, I doubt how like I said, he's never played good football. I don't know how he could change anybody's mind, for that matter. Yeah, this quarterback situation, I think we're all in agreement. There is not a person on this planet that doesn't agree that Tyler Huntley should play against the Titans. Even though I think there are better options the Dolphins at least could explore out there. And, I thought we were trying to compete this year. I would have already made that trade if I was the GM of the Dolphins. As soon as I knew Tua was out for 4 weeks, I would have already called somebody about somebody. Like I don't understand how. I'm very disappointed in that, and it's really frustrating. And again, there is no way we don't make a change. I don't care if he's healthy or not. There's no way we don't make a change. This next news story, and this is another thing that's a whole another hot topic of Dolphins fandom. This comes from Pro Football Rumors. Mike McDaniel open to play call changing, but it's not going to happen anytime. At least it's not going to happen this week against the Titans. Okay, so let's just. I don't even know where to begin with this. The only thing that I would say with Mike and this, there's so many things. Like the only thing I would say that yes, some of the situational stuff has been good. I would agree with that, but the only thing I would say that I would change from the cards that he's been dealt this year is that I wish he would tone back on some of the more aggressive runs, because this team cannot recover from long down and distance right now. It just cannot recover from it, especially with the quarterbacks that we have. So he's got to come up with a different way to run the football and these edge runs just are not working. And they're so high risk that, like I said, it's like getting a holding penalty, but it's even worse because it's a loss of down. So we've got to tone that stuff down. Like that, we just have to tone it down. It isn't working, and it's killing us in some of these drives. That's the only thing that I would change from what he's done. I don't think the short yardage struggles that we've had is just because this team can't physically dominate like they should at the line of scrimmage. And again, that was a huge problem in this game, is short yardage. And it's not like, are you I mean, we even tried that. You know what's really messed up, and this is another short yardage disaster, is we did try a play action pass to get the first down, and we've struggled before this the entire game of picking up short yardage, and we even struggled in the red zone because of that. We couldn't score on the 4-yard line because of penalties, and we just couldn't move them up front. This is not a great run defense, by the way. So we play action fake. We have Devon Achane open in the flat, and Skylar Thompson takes a blindside sack. And I think, isn't that the play that he got like severely injured? I think it was. So this is what I'm talking about. How can you trust this guy, Skylar, to do anything? Anyway, so what was I even talking about? Oh, the play calling. Yeah, that's the only thing that I would say is, and I would say personnel stuff. Like, get Julian Hill out of the game, dude. Seriously. I don't know why he's out there. He's a disaster. He's been a disaster the first 3 weeks of the year. He's just been an absolute just disaster. Get him out. So, yeah, he's literally killed drives. The quarterback play in this game was so hard to watch, dude. It reminded me of 2018, dude. It was just hard to watch. Yeah, I think that's it for the news. I don't think there's anything else. I was trying to find that quote. I couldn't find it. Were there any redeeming? And again, another sad stat is we're the only team in the NFL that hasn't led at all during a game. We hit a game-winning field goal. It's the only time we led this entire season. We're the only team in the league that's the case. Could not be more disappointed in the start of this year. Granted, not everything is on. Some of it, a lot of it's, I won't say a lot of it, but some of it, a good amount of it is because of bad luck, unfortunately. But yeah, it's been a very disappointing start to the season. I don't, it's like an actual nightmare scenario. So the Dolphins fall to the Seahawks 24-3. We talked about the offense. Outside of Skylar Thompson, were there issues? Sure. Like, I don't think the issues were that bad, though. I think a lot of it came down to quarterback play, and it just made everything it was compounding. It just made everything that much worse. Yeah, I thought that was like the highlight of offensively of the day was Tanner Connor in that post play. I thought it was really cool because a lot of teams, when we switch personnel like that and we don't have Tyreek or Waddle down, they're not expecting us to go deep. So I thought that was interesting that we could use Tanner in that way, and he was wide open for a touchdown. And Skyler just missed him. So yeah, that was like the highlight of the day on offense. What else should we do? Jonnu Smith needs to play football more. He needs to play tight end. Or either that or Tanner Connor, and I'm sure like Julian Hill's a better run blocker and all that, but he's just like I said, he's a disaster. Like, why is Julian Hill starting? What else do we need to talk about? Jalen Wright needed to take way more carries in this game, and but again, any time we passed the football, it was a disaster. Like something really bad happened. I thought, and the highlight of this entire game is the defense. I thought the defense played phenomenal. They held the Seahawks to 3 of 11 on third down. They picked off Geno Smith twice. The only thing that they didn't do well was they had a really bad busted coverage that was just, I don't even know what to say. Javon Holland trying to jump her out and make a play ends up being a huge, huge play in that game. And we just really, it's not like that. We only scored 3 points. We had every opportunity to tie the game, and we just didn't offensively. So many momentum stuff that we just did not take advantage, and it really bummed me out watching it, because I was like, if we had two, I just wonder what would have happened. There was a stat that I was trying to figure out. We only allowed 100 rushing yards total. It was not, it's not, say it's like phenomenal, but just considering how bad, Charbonnet averaged 5 yards a carry. He had 18 carries for 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Our defense was on the field a lot in this game, and they have been all year. I think the run defensive criticism, it's valid. I'm not saying that the run defense is perfect. Some of it is just some miscommunication stuff. I don't think it's going to be a problem, though. Some people like Omar Kelly keeps complaining about it, like the Dolphins don't know how to stop the run. I don't think it's that bad. Even though I think that's probably the best thing the Seahawks had going for them, but they played a really good defense the entire game. And the Seahawks tried to run the football. The middle of the field was an issue in this game. I think that was the biggest glaring issue. Is this was a problem the last 2 seasons. Defending the middle of the field. And I felt like, it was kind of hit or miss. It was either really bad or it was good. There was really no in between on that. I thought Storm Duck did a phenomenal job in this game, coming in for Kendall Fuller, who was having a really good game before that. The pass rush looks phenomenal, which is great. Which was a concern going into the season, but it's a pretty good pass rush. Calais Campbell, still a really good player, which I didn't think was possible, but he's still really good. Zach Sealer's having a really good year. Jalen Phillips looks really good. I think Chop has actually had some moments where he has made some pretty cool plays. So the front is pretty good. I think the secondary is playing. I think the only person in the secondary that I've been disappointed in is Jordan Poyer. He's had some bad moments through the first 3 games. Hopefully that kind of gets cleaned up a little bit. He's probably played the worst in the secondary. Kohu probably had his best game in a long time in this game. He really did. He covered well, and he was going against pretty good slot players like Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett, and he did pretty good. So yeah, the defense was great. Offense was about as bad as you can imagine. The only reason they got points is because the defense got an interception. That's literally for real, the only reason. Every time we had any momentum offensively, it was killed in the worst possible way you could imagine. So they need to fix the quarterback position. They got to tone down on these runs on the outside. Like I said, it's just too high risk, and it's killing some of these drives. And it's one of the reasons we got killed against Buffalo. Even though we moved the ball well against Buffalo, drives died because of some of that stuff. And it's not, a lot of it's just lack of execution. We missed a lot of blocks against Buffalo, and whether it was screen game or running on the edges, And if we can't execute these plays, we're losing 2 to 3 yards on these plays, for God's sake. So we got to stop that stuff. Just tone it down a little bit. Don't do it as much. And maybe not even, like, if we got momentum first, like, don't do it. Even, I don't know. Just throw it out of the playbook. Like, I don't know. Because we just cannot run them, dude. I don't think we've had I can't think of really, like, an overly positive play running that stuff. So it's just been negative. Yeah. And the lack of Hill Waddle production and again, this is something that's been consistent, is like when Tua has gotten hurt, they've basically been ghosts. So, hopefully Tyler Huntley plays. I wish we would have traded for someone like Mac Jones. That would have been a dream. That really would have been an actual dream. I hope Skylar Thompson doesn't play in this game against the Titans, and I really hope that it's not Tim Boyle. So I really, really hope that. What else? There was something I wanted to bring up. What was it? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's pretty depressing. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I don't agree with the decisions this team is making to address this situation. We're too talented offensively to be playing like this, and Skylar it's making it worse. It's making it way worse. So yeah, I hope he doesn't play. And Tyler Huntley. I do think there's some cool stuff we can do with Tyler Huntley. Like I said, getting him involved with the running game in creative ways. And Mike is so good at drawing up an RPO. And that's another thing. Skylar, and even Tua in week 1, missed touchdowns off of some of those plays. Like Devon Achane, and even the commentating was like, dude, he was wide open. I don't even remember what the play was exactly on Achane. But that's something that they have to see on film, and they can utilize with Tyler Huntley to get him easy completions. And that one was a touchdown. I mean, there was nobody covering him. So there's stuff on film that they can, like, okay, if we can do some creative stuff with Huntley in the run game. We can do some easy RPO reads off of it. And that's better than anything that we've seen from Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle. So let's just do that. Okay? I don't need Tyler Huntley running 50 different pirouettes, pitches, and I'm sure that he can even do, I mean, if he practices it, I'm sure he can do it. But he doesn't need to know all the jargon and all that. Let's just install some stuff for Tyler Huntley. And how can we utilize Tyler Huntley's skills with the players that we have? Let's just do that. Let's not worry about the offense as a whole. Let's worry about what's best for the team. Okay? I don't care about the playbook. You got a week. You got an extra day to prepare for the Titans. You've had Tyler Huntley in the building for a few days now. We've seen what Skylar Thompson can do. Let's let Tyler Huntley, and let's just build something around him. God bless Tyler Huntley. He made a Pro Bowl. He actually throws the ball pretty well. He's got a good arm, which is good. He's had 4 touchdowns in a game, in an NFL game. That's more than any of these other guys can say. He led a team to a playoff game when Lamar was hurt against some good competition. And I think, like I said, there's some cool stuff we can do with him, and we can make it simple for him and still have a lot of success offensively. Especially off of some of these creative RPOs. So I don't see why. And I've seen some people say maybe Mike McDaniel doesn't want to reveal anything of who's starting against the Titans, so it makes it harder for them to game plan. I hope that's the case. Because he should be the one playing. And definitely, and I swear, if Tim Boyle plays in this game, I will officially lose my mind. My mind will be gone. I will be locked up in Arkham Asylum. It'll be gone. Like the world just will not make sense to me anymore if Tim Boyle's somehow the starter. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully Tyler Huntley plays against the Titans. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And one more thing I want to say positive, because I like I said, there's stuff on film. We have great skill positions. We gotta utilize them. So team's still good. They're still a good football team, but they gotta change the quarterback position. So anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.